afternoon, everybody. This is Otis,
And this is Jerry.
and we are two guys catching up on football. Jerry, today has been just a great day for football. I tell you what, just a bunch of close games, and it gives us something really exciting to talk about. And of course, we're not gonna start where all the experts have started at, which is the Lions game yesterday, because you and I are not really fans of the Lions or the Cowboys. You are a Cleveland Browns fan,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we got to go back to Thursday when I think the Browns clinched the playoff spot.
Yes, they did. They're good to go. They're the number 5 seed. Doesn't matter what happens anymore. Yeah.
And so for those that are catching up with us the first time, Jerry is a Cleveland Browns. It, well, calling him a fan actually does a disservice.
Even got a vest on. Yeah.
Yeah. Calling him a fan does a disservice. So since the Browns won on Thursday, he couldn't be bad luck Schleprock today.
No.
When the Browns have a 17-point lead with 2 minutes left in the game. So I wasn't exactly sure how he was going to handle today, but he handled it like a champ. And so
I tell you, it's been a while since there's been a Sunday. Next Sunday will be the same because it doesn't matter what happens.
Right.
I got no concerns. Just watching as a casual fan, blood pressure's fine. Nothing to get upset about. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta wait another week. But honest is, even if they get knocked out the first game in the playoffs, we'll see who they play. But this has been a wild and fun season for them. So it's been incredible and. What a big surprise because they're playing their fourth quarterback now, and it's been actually pretty amazing. Yeah,
they literally grabbed a quarterback off his couch to come and play. I mean, literally, and yet they're winning. And so Flacco is giving them the one thing that they kind of basically needed all year. Was competent quarterback play. And excuse me, I looked up for a second. Kansas City just kicked a field goal. And so there's 3 minutes left. They're up by 8. And so they still aren't out of the woods yet. No. So what's Cleveland's head coach's name?
Stefanski.
Thank you. Stefanski has done a really, really
he
good job.
Needs to be coach of the year, no question. And if I think so.
There's one slight question.
Who?
D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah, but I don't think D'Amico's they could win the division. I'd give D'Amico would definitely get some votes. I think Stefanski's done a great job. I think Dan Campbell had a shot at it until last night when he somehow thought he was Kenny Rogers the gambler and kept rolling the dice. Take the 3, dude. Put the dice in your pocket and take the 3. I don't know what.
It's got to be D'Amico because he's got a rookie quarterback. He's got rookie wide receivers. He took over a team that over the last 3 years, they've won 7 games in 3 years. Yeah. And now they have a shot at the playoffs, and they might get to what are they now? They're 9-7.
I think they can if they win next week.
They could win the division. It has to be. It has to be him. I
don't know. I don't know if there's been a co-coach, but
I think Stefanski did a great job. But I gotta go with D'Amico.
I'm going to be a homer and stick with Stefanski on this one.
And I understand.
And you know better than most of the time, I would have. I'm usually saying get rid of Stefanski.
You would have, and
Yeah,
you would have said that maybe 7, 8 games ago
yeah.
when they were six, or I think they were 6-2 or 6-3. You would have said Stefanski has to go.
I do give.
But
I would give Stefanski. The Browns this year, for whatever reason, it's not over yet either. Maybe the football gods, we might see a Lions Browns Super Bowl, which would mean the apocalypse is coming. But the Browns have had a ton of breaks this year. Everything
oh
has
yeah,
gone their way.
yeah,
So,
it's
and
just
that's not necessarily, Moody, the Niners game, Moody missing the kick. That's not Stefanski. That's just the football gods blowing the ball over a little bit. So,
well,
you know,
yeah, but the law of averages eventually catches up. So they've had a lot of bad luck. Eventually, they got to have something good happen. I mean,
oh no, that's true. Yeah.
it just
Yeah,
has to.
switching
And
sports, but even the Pistons won a game. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a
So
law of averages.
yeah, the law of averages catches up, and I hope the Pistons go on a 20-game win streak.
That'd be fantastic.
It would be. So now, since you brought it up with the Lions, you know that's my brother's team. So you didn't see the game. So
Yeah.
here's the way I saw it, and all the experts have talked about it. But here's how I saw it on the video. Number seven, number 70 is coming from the sideline. And
Yeah.
all game long, he's gone up to the head referee and
Yeah.
said that he was an eligible receiver. So he's looking at him running on, and right away, he assumes he's going to say he's an eligible receiver. Meanwhile, two offensive linemen are standing right in front of him saying something to him, and he never once looks over at them.
Yeah.
So
He-
I'm thinking he assumed number 70 was checking in
yeah. I
as
agree.
an eligible receiver. He assumed that because the guy's done it all game long.
Yeah.
Number 68 was already in the game and has never checked in as an eligible receiver. And I think number 58 was also over there with him, too.
Mhm.
There were two offensive linemen over there, which I think Detroit sent them there in order for the defense not to know which one of them was actually checking in as an
Right.
eligible receiver. And so then he saw number 70 go to the tackle position, which made him ineligible. And he goes, well, he didn't have to check in with me with that. But what he never looked at was the fact that the receiver on the side with 68 was off the line of scrimmage, which made 68 eligible. So now, the call should have been illegal formation if they didn't know the 68 had checked
Right.
in. And so it should have been illegal formation because that receiver is supposed to cover up an ineligible player.
Yeah.
So the call was wrong. The official did not make sure what he saw was what was reported to him. I'm not sure number 70 actually said anything to him because he started running towards Dallas's defense before number 70 even got there. So and what he should have done was said, it was my fault. Number 70 had been checking in all day long. I assumed he was coming in for an eligible position.
Yeah.
I never heard number 68 say anything to me at all, which is possible because the stadium is loud. So,
Yeah.
um,
It, it, uh,
he blew that.
yeah. I had turned it off at that point, and then I looked online, and everybody said rigged and this and that, and you know me on that's one thing too. I'm a big conspiracy guy in the NFL,
Yes,
but
you are.
when I saw relooked at things this morning, it's just human error, and
Yeah,
even I think it was somebody trying to explain it on one of the networks before today's games, and even they got confused by, well, wait, because they said it was 70 checking in, and somebody else said no, it was 68.
right.
It just got confusing. It's just human error.
It
It's
was.
yeah,
It was just a
and,
mistake.
and it's a lesson for, I guess, everybody, all the coaches around the league is make sure you really have it all in order. In fact, somebody had said, I think that they had a timeout. They could have taken a timeout. They could
They
have,
could have taken. They
yeah,
didn't
they
have
could have
to.
really, really straightened it out and said, look, don't mess this up, ref. This guy's the eligible receiver on this one.
Right.
And left it at
Because
that.
because the official always announces it and
Yeah.
everybody can hear it.
Yep.
And so this is kind of on Dan Campbell too,
I
because
agree.
when he didn't hear the guy he wanted to be to the eligible receiver announced timeout because Jared Goff sent him sent the lineman to the
Right.
official to tell him he was eligible.
Yeah.
So Jared Goff did his job. The lineman did his job. Dan Campbell and the referee did not do theirs. And
Yeah.
so he could have called a timeout and made sure because he didn't need the timeout.
Yeah.
So he could have called timeout to make sure that the official got it right and that it was what it was. So unfortunately, Michael, I'm sorry, buddy, but they are
Yeah.
going to the playoffs. They will get a home playoff game.
Yeah.
They will probably play the Rams, maybe, and
Yeah.
so then it'll be um, uh, Matt
Yeah.
Stafford. Matt Stafford coming back.
I agree. Sorry, Mike. That's not we're against you on this one. But my memo to Coach Campbell too would be next time you're playing an important game. And my thing was with that game was you're potentially talking about home field in the NFC Championship. You don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs.
No, you don't.
And Campbell, for whatever reason, just didn't decide it in that game. I don't want 3 points. I just don't want it. Dude,
Well,
take the points.
I got to be honest. I understood where he was coming from because he was looking at because to be honest, he didn't know what was going to happen in the Philadelphia game because it was
Yeah,
today.
true.
And so I think he was looking at the fact that let's win this, let's not go to overtime. He's always gambling and it was to
Yeah.
his nature.
Right.
So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And the worst that was going to happen happened. And the best that they can do is the number 3 seed because they're not going to get the second seed
Right.
unless both Dallas and Philadelphia lose next week. Then they'll have a better record than both of them.
I'm not sure who do they play next week.
Well,
Oh,
Philadelphia.
Dallas is at Washington, I think.
Yeah, Dallas is at
Yeah.
Washington. Philadelphia is at the Giants.
Yeah.
They both shouldn't lose, but on the off chance that they both lose, Dallas will
Well,
get the East title, and
yeah.
Detroit will get the second seed.
Yeah.
So then they will be okay, and there will be water under the bridge. So it's just kind of and you know just on the Browns and the Lions alone, it was just a lot to digest. Just what happened on that, and then there were there were really some really great
Well,
close
I
games
was going to
today.
segue to how about the Eagles 10-1 to start. Now they lose to the Niners, and I think they're 1-4 in their last 5.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you saw the end of that game, but when I watched the last play and Hurts threw up a Hail Mary,
end of which
in
one?
my the Eagles and Cardinals today.
Oh,
But at the end, he threw up a Hail Mary, and in my opinion, there were 3 Eagles receivers in the end zone. I didn't see one guy. The only people making an attempt to catch the ball were Cardinals receivers. It was kind
Yeah,
of weird. It was very
yeah.
strange, almost.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that part of it, but I did see the final play. And
yeah. I think they've got the Eagles. To me, have something going on. Might be with Hurts. They made him do those drills because he was fumbling. I don't know what they made. Sirianni made him do some kind of goofy drill or something. They probably have a little bit of locker room problems. I imagine. I don't know.
well, I still say it's not Hurts. I still say it's the defense
Oh
because
yeah,
they scored 31 points.
true.
You
Well,
scored you scored 31 points. You should win, and
and they,
and you're playing the Cardinals, and you
no
scored
kidding. Yeah,
31, and you
yeah,
should win. So
yeah.
them having Matt Patricia as defensive coordinator has not helped.
Why
Um,
did they make that move in the first place?
well, because
What was broken?
because the guy who was the defensive coordinator, he was elevated after one of the coordinators, and it's not Shane Steichen, it's the other guy
I don't know.
who's in Arizona. Um,
Mm.
he was the defensive coordinator, and they didn't like what he was doing, I guess, because but I mean they got to know Javon Hargrave, who left and went to the 49ers, was a big difference on their defensive line. They
Oh
are
yeah.
they are down 17 or 18 sacks from last
Wow.
year. They're down 20 something pressures or something like that.
So it's not the same. Yeah.
I don't know the numbers exactly, but Hargrave occupied two people all the time. And so everybody else could do whatever they wanted to do
Right.
and get to the running back, get to the quarterback. Hassan Reddick is great off the edge, but Javon Hargrave made the difference.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter, who they drafted, is a good player, but he's not Hargrave,
He
and
ain't there yet.
and
No.
so that that is and the last year their defensive backs weren't really any better than they are this year, but they got to the quarterback so quickly they didn't have to be.
Yeah. True.
And this year
Good point.
they're not getting to the quarterback. They needed to be better and they aren't. So people are able to pass on them. And again, we're not experts, so we don't have stuff in front of us that I can call up right away as far as what quarterback rating was last year as compared to this year.
Oh, they're
But
down. Yeah.
but I'd be willing to bet that quarterbacks are absolutely killing them
Yeah.
on the QBR. So
Yeah.
and they're being run on. Hargrave didn't let
Yeah.
people run on them. So people are
Yeah.
running on them. They're throwing on them. They can't get off the field on third down because people are
Yeah.
running. You know,
Yeah.
it's they're just. I think them and Kansas City are both on the Super Bowl hangover. They both started out great, but I think now they're both getting tired, and
Yeah.
it's a long 2 seasons for them
Right.
without much of a break. Basketball goes through it all the time. You go all the way through to the playoffs. You've played more than 100 games.
Right.
You get only about 2 months of rest before practice starts again, and you got to go through the grind again. So
Yeah.
I
Makes sense.
think both teams are just tired, and
Now,
it'll probably be okay when the season's over.
so we disagreed on Coach of the Year. We may disagree on this one.
Okay.
After today's game and last week's game, I'm going MVP is Lamar Jackson.
No, we agree on that.
Okay. I was
He's
thinking you might have done McCaffrey.
no, I think I think McCaffrey would not be a bad choice, but
I think
you,
McCaffrey's got more historic numbers, I want to say.
yeah,
Uh,
and Lamar's numbers are not as good as they were the year he won MVP, and people could look at that, but you gotta look at the fact that he is. They got people who can catch the ball. They've got besides Mark Andrews, who's out,
right.
and the tight end that took his place is actually playing pretty good. He's not as
Yeah.
good as Andrews, but
Yeah.
he's darn good.
Yeah.
And so the threat of Lamar running
Yep.
is allowing him to throw the ball to open receivers because these
Yep.
guys are getting open and they're catching the football.
Yep.
So he is
And
the
they have a
offense
pretty
is
good
playing.
defense. They have a solid defense
Yes,
too.
they are. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I
And,
do.
and
What was I gonna?
probably,
The thing with Lamar is, and he did it a few times against the Niners. I wasn't surprised. I've seen him do it against the Browns many times. There's plays where you think they got him. It's going to be a sack, and next thing it turns into a gain of 35 yards. Either he runs or finds somebody. He just, he, to me personally, is even more magical at times than Mahomes
oh
or
yeah,
Josh Allen or anybody.
yeah.
Lamar can do things that even Mahomes cannot do.
No,
He's,
Mahomes can't take it 75 yards for a touchdown,
no,
but Lamar can.
Lamar can. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He can take it 75 yards for a touchdown.
Yep.
He can also, just like Mahomes, he can also flick the ball 75 yards for a
Yeah, I
touchdown
know.
too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Their day, what I noticed today is, I mean, when they beat the Niners, there were some guys that went down on the Niners. They kind of beat them up.
oh yeah.
They did the same thing to the Dolphins today. The Dolphins lost Chubb. Tua got knocked around. There, and as somebody noted that I saw on social media, the Ravens ran up the score, and they will do that. That's you're talking to one of the Harbaugh brothers. That is the coach. If he has a chance to run up the score and rub it in, he's gonna do that. I
He and the thing is, I like both Harbaugh brothers. Um, but John is he is kind of like if I have a chance
oh
to,
yeah, I've
to
seen it many
choke,
times.
if I have a
Yeah,
chance to choke you out in the middle of the ring,
yeah.
tapping out is not going to save you.
No, yeah, he's going to lay it on. He'll keep. Well, I at times even think, and I know now you're really making me remember. But in the past, they've had games like today where I think they won by 30 or so.
yeah,
They'll still have Lamar. They're padding stats.
yeah.
I think that he's a big stat patter, and it's like Lamar. You want to get 300 yards rushing? Go ahead and stay in the game. I know we're up by 40, but go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know if you ever saw the movie with The Rock. It was called Rampage, where he
Oh
was the.
no.
He wound up with a gorilla that was really huge. So he's captured by the feds. He breaks out, of course, and so they're in a military installation, and this one guy, one guy, he's breaking away, and he gets him in a chokehold, and he's just talking to him, and he's going, "Come on, that's a big old arm. Don't fight it. That's a big old arm." That's what John Harbaugh does. Come
Oh,
on,
it's true.
don't fight
Yeah,
it.
it is true.
That's
It's
that's a
really they
big
will do
arm.
that.
Just go to sleep. Just
Yeah,
go to sleep. That's a big old
they know.
arm. So
Yeah,
Harbaugh, he and I like both of the Harbaugh brothers. They take no prisoners.
they
You know,
don't.
they give no quarter, and they ask for no
That's the
quarter.
quarter. Yeah, it's true.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah,
That,
they are great. Um
Now, before I want to make sure we get into, I don't know how much time we still have,
Just
but
a few minutes.
what are we looking at for tomorrow? Uh,
Um,
New Year, we're switching to college football here. We've got Texas and Washington, and Bama, and I'm drawing a blank.
Alabama and Michigan.
In Michigan.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we hit that,
Yeah.
I had one thing I wanted to say to you real quick on the Tampa Bakers. Okay,
Uh,
Mike Evans, and I love Mike Evans. He's probably my favorite receiver. Mike Evans does not try to even shake defensive backs anymore.
uh,
He just runs into them, knocks them down, continues on his pattern because he's bigger and stronger than they are. So they don't even knock him off his pattern. And so therefore he's open every time Baker wants him. I just thought that was funny. And I just wanted to bring that
if
up.
I heard this correctly, even though they lost, I think they play the Panthers next week.
Right. If they win, they
And if
win
they
the
win, they
division.
still win the division.
Right.
So
Right. So
so
they had
Baker
a
can have his bounce back game, maybe.
yeah. They'll
But
I think they'll beat the Panthers and so
probably, yeah.
yeah. So anyway, all right. So we'll go
Yeah.
back to tomorrow.
We'll
Tomorrow,
go to Texas, Washington.
um, college is so hard to figure out because they're kids,
Yeah.
and you never know, and they're kids who haven't played in almost a month.
Yeah.
So practicing is nothing like the game, and there's no way to know. And this is with both games. There's no way to know what kind of mood they're going to be in.
True.
So eh, it's going to be. I would go with Washington
Wow.
and Alabama.
Wow. I'm going mine would be Texas and Bama.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't Harbaugh, even when he was in the pros, had a difficult time winning the big game. I mean, he
Yeah.
just did. And the semifinal game for him is a big game.
Yeah,
So
true.
and the players really kind of reflect their coaches, and I think he just gets tight. And because he gets tight, the players sense it and they get tight.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to play as loose as they possibly could. And Harbaugh is very conservative. He does not take chances. I mean,
It'll be interesting to see. Well, Michigan's defense is good. I just don't know if Michigan can score either, kind of thing.
yeah, and Jalen Milroe is the
Ye-
wild card in the whole thing
Yeah, true.
because he does a lot of things off script, and so they're going to have a hard time keeping him in check enough that they can keep the Alabama offense in check. So uh,
I just had flashbacks of Auburn again, the Auburn Alabama game. So I think that's probably the craziest football game I've seen between college and the NFL all year.
all
To
year,
me,
yeah,
yeah,
but
probably the final 5 minutes of that game was
yeah,
unbelievable.
but it's also par for the course for Alabama Auburn.
Yeah,
You have the kick six.
yeah,
You've got that. I mean, they just do stuff in the final minute between those two that just make you
true.
go, huh?
Now, I'm gonna jump to a different. We've the season's almost over. We've had some. Our MVP went to the Pastronaut. Then he became our most favorite player. Our MFP. Our Schleprock Award. I'm going as we both can share it. And as Otis explained, it doesn't matter if the Browns could be up 40-0 with a minute left, and I'm still going to think that they're going to lose. There's no question.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be positive about the Browns. I just am not, and it's got to do with the history, the last whatever 30 years of the Browns. I've seen them collapse so many times that I got used to it. But I'm sharing this award with Otis because
Because
even today, I think he was still concerned about the Seahawks, who he had picked to win the NFC West. So
I did because I didn't trust Shanahan. I still don't really,
I
but
know you don't.
at the beginning of oh, hang on one second. I'm going to get my brother to call in.
Oh,
Um,
nice. While you're doing, I'm going to look just to
I
see.
just texted him. Um,
Yeah.
so at the beginning of the year, I looked at their schedule, and I thought they would. I thought being
I,
9-8 was going to be generous because their schedule was just so tough. I mean,
I,
just so difficult. So
I,
they
I,
they've surpassed
well,
what I thought
wasn't
they
there
were
a
going to
point?
do.
I will say early on, wasn't there a game where the Niners played Seattle and they both had the same record?
Yeah.
The
Okay,
first meeting.
hang on one second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him on speaker.
Yeah. Put Michael.
Hey, Michael, you're on speaker.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much.
Hi, Mike.
Me and Jerry are doing our thing. Jerry, can you hear Michael?
Barely.
Just barely. Let's see if I can get him closer to the speaker. Go ahead, Michael. Do you have a question for me and Jerry?
No, actually, a comment. Actually, just watched Philadelphia and Arizona. I'm kind of watching the highlights on YouTube. Just watched Philadelphia and Arizona. I really don't think Jalen Hurts would be a problem for San Francisco. Personally, I think Detroit still got a shot at it. If they're going to have any problem, it'll be San Francisco.
Okay. Well, Michael, thank you for your comment. Hopefully, we heard you enough that you'll be on the recording. So
I did.
we
I
will.
tell you, is Mike. I agree with this at least. I think the Lions will go farther in the playoffs than the Eagles. I'll put it that way.
So Jerry, did you hear that, Michael?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. So Jerry thinks that Detroit is going to go farther than the Eagles. So all right, Michael. Well, thank you for calling into the show. We appreciate it. And then we'll be putting it up later on tonight so you can watch it. All right, buddy. Love you. Catch you later.
Love you too.
Bye. All right, there we go. Our first in our next to last show for the year. We had a call in, so that was good. But yeah, so basically, though our time is up. I think we covered a lot of the stuff that we wanted to cover. Most of it was.
There should not be. If I'm gonna, the 49ers need to be in the Super Bowl this year because there is nothing in their way. I don't see it, but
I don't think so either, and I think, and
I mean,
that's
strange things
that's
happen,
me.
but
Yeah, that's me saying that. I
yeah.
don't think so. However, I will, as I've done all this year, will not watch because I am not going to be emotionally invested in what goes on. So I've been a 49er fan since I was 8 years old, which is something considering I grew up in South Carolina. So that
Yeah.
says something.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was 1981, I did not watch a single 49er game that year, and they went to the Super Bowl. Or it might have been 1980. I don't remember which one it was.
Was
Might-
that over the Bengals?
Yeah. So that might have been the 80 season and the 81 Super Bowl. But I did not
Actually,
watch.
that might have been the Broncos, but yeah.
No, I think it was the Bengals. I did
Okay.
not watch a single game that year because I did not want to be emotionally invested. And so I was surprised to watch Sports Center and saw that they won the Super Bowl. So maybe this year it'll happen again that way. So we,
Well, if we can have it our way, we'll have a Browns and Niners Super Bowl.
if we have it our way, it'll
Yeah.
either be Browns and Niners, or it might be. I put it like this: if it's if Baltimore is in the Super Bowl, I don't want it to be the Niners because I think the Ravens could beat them because they're just. I mean, the Niners are physical, but I think the Ravens are just a hair more physical.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
so
Yeah.
if it's the Ravens, then I'm okay if anybody else from the NFC goes. Because, and this stat I just saw, the Ravens are Lamar Jackson is 18-1 or 19-1 against the NFC.
Wow.
Yeah. So, well,
You know,
18, 19-1. Yeah.
that's probably. I'm just a quick thought. They don't see him that much, and he's basically a freak
And
to me.
you can't see on
Yeah.
film how fast he
Yeah.
actually is.
No, so the guy on the Browns, Jeremiah Owusa Koromora, I think I got his name right.
You probably didn't because you have a hard time with names.
Yeah,
like
that's
that,
true.
so-
We'll call him JOK.
yeah.
But he was drafted specifically to be a spy for Lamar. I swear, as a Browns fan, because you do need, you play that guy twice, you better have a plan for him,
You need
and you got to have a
two
spy.
guys. You
Yeah.
need two guys to spy him.
Yeah, you
Right?
need
'Cause
two
he's-
guys, but you mentioned it earlier. That's the problem is you got two spies. So if the Niners have Warner and Greenlaw maybe spying on him, that means a tight end is probably sitting right in their zone somewhere, and he's going to throw a pass.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's
So,
kind of a pick your poison.
yeah, it is. It is. So all right, buddy. Well, all right. For everyone who's watching and who's watched, this is our next to the last episode. Next week is the final regular season, and we will not be doing this during the playoffs. But I just want to say I've had fun before we get to the last episode. I've had a great time. I've had fun, and just want to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And
And
Jerry-
Happy New Year to everybody. And
Yes.
this is our last show of 2023.
Yes, and
So-
especially to my partner Jerry, this has been great. It was a great idea we had to do this, and
And
happy
we
New
made it work out. Yeah.
Happy New Year, buddy. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. A little traveling
We're
music.
going out for 1 month.
Yeah, we can't sign off without this.
We just need to know who it is who's playing.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and this is Two Guys Catching Up on Football. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Later.
Wait.